This is Business 110, Chapter 6. Let's start with the learning objective. At the end of Chapter 6, we're going to be able to define management and explain its rules and the achievement of organization objectives. Second, we're going to be able to describe the major function of management and distinguish among three levels of management and the concern of managers at each levels. Finally, we're going to be able to specify the skills managers need in order to be successful. Now, let's go to management and managers. Management is a very important element in any organization, a profit or non-profit. It can be found in hospitals, education institutes, and even in the military. Now, what is the definition of management? It is a process designed to achieve an organization objective by using its resources effectively and efficiently in a changing environment. Now, what do we mean by resources? Resources can be financial resources, inventory, human skills, production resources, information technology, and even natural resources. But what do we mean by using those resources effectively and efficiently? We mean by using those resources effectively is having the intent or desired result by using those resources. And what do we mean by using those efficiently? Is meaning accomplishing the objective with a minimum of resources, or in another word, achieving maximum productivity with a minimum resources. Now, what is managers? Managers, those individuals in organization who make decisions about the use of resources and who are concerned with planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling the organization activity to reach its objective. So managers are responsible for making the organization reach its objectives. Let's talk about the importance of management. Now, the importance of management, as you know, every organization must acquire resources such as people, raw materials, equipment, could be money, could be an information to effectively reach to its goal or objectives. And how to do that? By coordinating those resources to turn out to the final good or services. Now, employee are very important factors in helping the firm to attain its objectives. They are the people who work. They are the people who do the jobs in the organization. Now, what does staffing mean? Staffing is recruiting, training, and training the employees to get to carry out the work for the organization. On the other hand, downsizing is the elimination of significant number of employees from the organization, and that for could be many reasons, such as cut the costs or get rid of unuseful workforce. Now, why acquiring supplies is very important. Acquiring supply is another important of managing resources and ensuring that the products are finally get to the customers. For a firm to reach a global market, companies such as Walmart has endless hundreds of diverse suppliers that provide goods and services to support its operations. Financial resources. Finally, the managers need adequate financial resources, money. They need the resources to pay for their essential activity. Primary funding for those organizations come from the owners, the shareholders, as well as the banks or any financial institutions. All those resources and activity must be coordinated and controlled. If any organization is to earn a profit, it must also have adequate supplies of resources of all types, and managers must carefully coordinate the use of those resources to achieve the organization objective. Let's talk about management functions. Management can do a lot of functions in organizations, such as planning, activity to achieve the organization objectives. They are organizing resources and activity to achieve the organization objectives. They are also directing employees' activities toward achievement of the objectives. And finally, they are controlling the organization activity to keep it on course. Now, in the next slides, I'm going to go through each function. Now, let's talk about the planning. Planning is the first function of a management. It is the process of determining the organization objective and deciding how to accomplish them. A planning is a very crucial activity, for it designs the roadmap that lay the groundwork for the other function. It involves forecasting events and determining the best course of action from a set of options or choices. The plan itself specifies what should be done, by whom, where, when, and how. But before an organization can plan a course of action, it must first determine what it wants to achieve. Now, what is a mission? It is the statement of an organization's fundamental purpose and basic philosophy. A well-developed mission statement, no matter what the industry or the size of the business, should answer five basic questions. Who are we? Who is our customers? What is our operating philosophy? What are our core competencies and competitive advantage? What are our responsibilities? Now, what is a goal? We can define goal as a result that a firm wishes to achieve. A company always has multiple goals. A goal has three key components, such as profit, customer satisfaction, and a time frame. Objectives are a measurable statement or common issue, such as profit, competitive advantage, efficiency, and growth. It is the end or result desired by an organization, driven from the organization common mission statement. Common objective mission. In the previous slide, there are three general types of plans for meeting the organization objectives: strategic, tactical, and operational. The highest developed by manager is the strategic plan. Strategic plans generally cover periods ranging from 1 year or longer. The strategic plan mainly highlight this issue: plans to add a product, purchase companies, sell unprofitable segment of business, issue stocks, move into international business or market. Strategic plan must take into account the operational or the organization capabilities and resources, the changing business environment, and organization objective. Plan should be market driven, matching customer desire for value with operational capabilities, process, and human resources. Now let's talk about tactical plan. Tactical plans are short range and designed to implement the activities and objectives specified in the strategic plan. This plan, which is usually cover a period from 1 year or less, it keeps the firm on course established in the strategic plan. It's an ever-changing market require firms to develop short-run or tactical plan to deal with the changing environment. Because of the fact tactical plan allow the organization to react to changes in the environment while continuing to focus on the company overall strategy. Management duty is should from time to time review and update the tactical plan. Let's talk about the operational plan. It's a very short term and specify what action specific individuals or work groups or department need to accomplish in order to achieve the tactical plan and ultimately the strategic plan. They apply the details in executing activity in 1 month or 1 week or even 1 day. Let's talk about another function of management. It's organizing. As you know, it's very impossible for individuals in any organization to be able to achieve common goals without some form of structures. Organizing is the structuring of resources and activity to accomplish objectives in efficient and effective manner. Organizing help to create synergy, whereby, as we mentioned earlier, the effect of a whole system equal more than that of its parts. It also establishes line of authority, improve communication, help avoid duplication of resources, and can improve competitiveness by speeding up decision making. Organizing happens continuously because changing is inevitable. Directing is another function of management. Once the organization has been staffed or has its workforce, management must direct the company staff to their work. Directing is motivating and leading employees to achieve organization objectives. Good directing involves telling employees what to do and when to do it through the implementation of deadline and then encourage them to do their work. Managers may motivate employees by providing incentive, such as the promise of a raise or promotion for them to do a good job, but most workers want more than money from their jobs. They need to know that their employee value their idea and input. Smart managers, therefore, ask workers to contribute idea or for reducing the cost, making equipment more efficient, improving customer service, or even developing a new idea for the new products. Let's talk about controlling, which is another function of management. Planning, organizing, staffing, and directing or are all important to the success of any organization, whether the organization objective is earning a profit or something else. But what happens when a firm fails to reach its goal despite its strong planning effort? Controlling is the process of evaluating and correcting activities to keep the organization on course. Controlling function involve 5 activities: measuring performance, comparing present performance with the standard or objectives, identifying deviation from the standards, investigating the causes of deviation, taking correction actions when necessary. Controlling function and planning function are closely linked. Planning establishes goals and standards by monitoring performance and comparing, comparing it with standards. Managers can determine whether performance is on target. When performance is substandard, Management must determine why and take appropriate action to get the firm back to course. In short, the control function helps managers access the course, the success of their plans. There are three types of managers in any organization: top management, middle management, and first line manager. Now we're going to talk about top management. In business, top management include the president and other top executives, such as the chief executive officer, the CEO, the chief financial officer, CFO, and the chief operational officer, CEO, who have overall responsibility for the organization. Now, with the new technology advance accelerating and the privacy concern increasing, some companies are adding a new top management position called Chief Privacy Officer, CPO. The top level managers spend most of their time planning. They make the organization strategic decision that focus on the overall picture or a key idea for using resources to take advantage of opportunity. In publicly owned corporation, the CEO boss is the board of directors. Compensation committee work directors and CEO to keep pay in line with performance in order to benefit stockholders and key stakeholders. Successful management translate into happy stockholders who are willing to compensate their top executives fairly and in line with performance. Workforce diversity is an important issue in today's corporation. Effective managers at enlightened corporation have found that diversity is a good for workers and for the bottom line. Putting together different kind of people to solve problems often result in better solution. Now let's talk about middle managers. Rather than making strategic decisions about the whole organization, middle managers are responsible for tactical planning that will implement the general guidelines established by top management. Thus, their responsibility is more narrowly focused than that top of managers. Middle managers are involved in the specific operation of the organization and spend more time organizing than other managers. In business, plant managers, division managers, and department managers make up middle management. The rank of middle managers have been shrinked as more and more companies downsize to be more productive. Finally, let's talk about first line managers. Most people get their first managerial experience as first line managers, those who supervise workers and the daily operation of the organization. They are responsible for implementing the plans established by middle managers and directing workers' daily performance on the job. They spend most of their time directing and controlling. Common title for the first line managers are foremen, supervisors, and office service manager. Tactical experts. They are specialized knowledge and training needed to perform job related to particular area of management. Also, it's needed mostly by first line managers and least critical to top level managers. Skills. Conceptual skills is the ability to think in abstract terms and see how parts fit together to form the whole. Mainly, this skills is needed for top-level managers to evaluate where the company will be in the future and make decisions. Managers are responsible for obtaining the necessary funding or money or capitals for further organization goals to be achieved in both short and long terms. Let's talk about analytical skills. They are the ability to identify relevant issues, recognize their importance, understand relationships between them, and perceive underlying causes of the situation. Most important to the success of top level managers, resolving ethical issues often requires analytical skills. Human relation skills are the ability to deal with people, both inside and outside the organization. These skills are especially important in organizations that provide services, such as in hospitals, airlines, and banks. Those who can relate to others, communicate well with others, understand the needs of others, and show a true operation for others are generally more successful than managers who lack such skill. Now, what is the requirement for a successful leadership? Leadership is the ability to influence employees to work toward organizational goals by communicate objectives and expectation, by gain the respect and trust of stakeholders, develop shared values, acquire and share knowledge, by empower employees to make decisions, also by a rules model to be a role models for appropriate behavior, and finally provide reward and take correct action to achieve goals. Now let's talk about leadership styles. Autocratic leaders make all the decisions, then tell employees what must be done and how to do it, like the military leaders. Democratic leaders involve employees in decisions, and that's the best leadership styles. Free rein leaders lets employee work without much interference, setting reform standards, and letting employees find their own way to meet them. Authentic leadership. Leaders different from other three leadership styles because it's not exclusive. Both democratic and free rein leaders could qualify as authentic leaders, passionate about goals and missions of a company, display corporate value in the workplace, form long-term relationship with stakeholders. Now, what do we mean by employee empowerment? Employee empowerment occur or happen when employees are provided with the ability to take on responsibilities and make decisions about their jobs. Employee empowerment does not mean that managers are not needed anymore. Companies that have a participative corporate cultures have been found to be beneficial because employees feel like they are taking an active role in the firm's success. Leaders who wish to empower employees must adopt systems that support an employee ability to provide input and feedback on company decisions. Employees must be encouraged to actively participate in decision making. Managers should also be trained in a way to empower employees to make decisions while also guide line employee to challenging situation in which the right decision must not be so clear, might not be so clear.